The Google hiring process the goal of it is to make sure that only, this is my word, but only A players, only really strong candidates come out the other end and are ultimately hired at Google. So they put a lot of effort into that. So the question is whether they should just simply hire people and put them on probation. It's an interesting idea. Honestly, I don't know if Google ever considered that. I've never done that, so I actually don't have any direct experience with that idea. The in mo I will take. I don't know why Google didn't do it, but if it were my company, it is often in most places of work, it is easier to hire than to let somebody go. So that's not symmetrical. If it were easy to let somebody go, maybe that would be better. You know, honestly, I wish the whole industry were how you suggest. Honestly, where we all went, and I've said this actually many times, so it's a great question. I would love it if everybody, you know, we decided to hire somebody, they came for 3 months, and at the end of 3 months we say, is it good for you? Yes, great. Is it not good for you? Okay, not good. I think that would be a wonderful way that we could all work, and that would be good for the candidate because they would make risk-free trials of new places, and it would be good for the company. Unfortunately, I've really not seen that done, but I think it would be a nice thing. I spend a lot more time testing my software than I do writing it, and in part that's because most of the systems that I build really have to be extremely reliable. But I think that's true no matter what you build, is that oftentimes you end up spending more time than you think testing the changes that you make versus actually making new changes. So just for myself, it helps me. Like, just for myself, it makes me a more productive engineer if I can test quickly within 1 second or 5 seconds or 1 minute, test to see that I've not broken anything, test to see that I've not broken anything. I am very familiar with the perception that it seems like a waste. The best way to do it is to try. I mean, I strongly recommend for somebody to try testing as part of their development process. Like, it's not important to me if it's test first or test at the end, but as part of developing a feature, write the tests to make sure that it does what you say, and then as you make modifications, you'll find that you'll be able to make it much faster and much more safely, and you'll be able to make more risky changes. Like, so often as software engineers, we have the experience of, oh gosh, I'm afraid to touch that. I'm afraid to make any changes in there because I don't know what it's going to do. Well, basically what you just said to yourself is, I don't have enough testing. How do we change it is by suggesting that people try it, because once you try it, you'll never go back. That Google internally has, with only a few exceptions, a single source code repository or logical repository where all the engineers that work there can see all the code. I think it's wonderful, and it kind of acts like an internal open source model. So in my experience at Google App Engine, lots of other teams who were users of App Engine would find issues in App Engine or want new features that we didn't have time to build, and they would contribute fixes or they would contribute new features, and this was wonderful. How to encourage people to do that? Let's say it the other way. The reason why people were contributing bug fixes, they are very nice people, but they weren't doing it just to be nice to me. They were doing it because they found a bug that they want fixed, and the best way for them to get it fixed is to say, here's the fix, please, and here's the test that verifies the fix, of course. So that made it a lot easier for us as, App Engine to add that. And similarly, the best way for them to convince us to add a new feature was to write the feature and give it to us. So it wasn't something where we needed to explicitly encourage our customers in any way to do it. Oftentimes they were motivated to do it. And in large part, that's also because Google has a very strong engineering culture, so there's a bit of pride in doing that. But the other angle is that I didn't mention this in my talk, but Google has a very structured promotion process, and this similar to the idea of how they have a very structured hiring process. And one of the things that is very important that sets engineers apart from others is what other parts of Google have they contributed to, and that's something that the promotion committees will notice. So I guess that's another obvious motivation. Typically, people are doing it to scratch their own itch, by which I mean they have a problem and they want it to be solved. But a broader motivation is that actually helps you get promoted.